Hello, and welcome to a very special Peak Merch, because this is the first anniversary of this channel. This has been a year of figuring it out in real time with an audience of thousands and a dedicated audience of tens. My father-in-law, Jeremy, I know who you are, I'm grateful, and I thought it would be fun 1 year in to really answer some of the common questions that I get from you, the viewer. Questions that keep coming back. You know, there's always the same thing on the tips of everybody's tongue. So that's what we're going to do. This is going to be different. This is going to be a little shorter, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun. So join me, because you are watching 1 year of Peak Merch. So I'm gonna come out the gate swinging with one really big question, which is, how do you determine what Peak Merch even is? And you know, the line I always say in these videos is, all merch is peak merch to someone, which is to say, my tastes might be different from your tastes, which is to say, this whole thing is subjective and perhaps even a little bit silly. That said, when you look at specific product categories, when you look at specific types of merch, there are things that stick out. There are things that make some things peak over others. T-shirts, very easy example. I think a really lazy kind of laminate hot press steam job on a t-shirt is not peak merch, because that's the kind of thing, maybe the kind of thing you would get in a kit as a kid and you would do with your parents' ironing board, but it's not going to hold up over time like an embroidered shirt is, or like something on a Comfort Colors brand tee. I guess what I'm saying is there's grades of quality in every merch category. If it's a garment, is it on a good quality garment? Is the logo or the proprietary thing well done? So that's one way to think about it. Another way to think about it, I've actually got two examples here for you. No need to move the camera. First is going to be this pin. This is a pin by Made to Thrill of the legendary El Toro coaster in New Jersey at Great Adventure. And what do I like about this in the realm of enamel pins? Why is this peak merch? Well, I love Made to Thrill's designs. They really tapped into something. We're still talking about the pin, something streamlined here. And you probably won't pick up here, but there is some sort of groove and indentation. This is not just like a basic enamel job. There's a lot of work that's gone into this. When you get into different types of enamel pins, there's whole different criteria for what constitutes legit and not. And this isn't a Disney pin, but if it were an official Disney pin, you would actually see the Disney pattern all across the end and spilling over past the border. Bootleg Disney pins will have a little fake border along the side, and the image or the pattern won't bleed out off of the pin. So little things like that, I think, once you know what you collect, once you know what you like, are going to tell you pretty quickly what your peak merch is. Now, one other example of embroidery is this is a hat that I would call peak merch from the band King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. And if you can pull back a little, I'll show you what makes this peak merch. So like I was explaining with t-shirts, look at this embroidered patch. This is not just pasted in or ironed in or stitched along the side. You can actually see the stitches of every little groove and line of their iconic weird dilated alligator dude, which is not his official name. All of this is to say, yes, all merch is peak merch to someone, but different types of merch, different product categories have different things that tell you if they're well made or if they're shoddy. And when you see as much as I have, you learn to look. And I think the other big question I want to hit in this video, so as to not make it too long, are you a Disney adult? I get this so often because folks know that even casual fans, not theme park fans or amusement park fans, know that Disney adults are a thing. These are people who make coordinated, self-created t-shirts with the font that they wear to the parks, adults walking around in mouse ears and Loungefly bags, cosplaying at Disney is called Disney bounding. They will get away with all that they can. You know, they can't wear masks inside, but they can sure carry their lightsabers, or they could have, you know, an outfit that matches the schema of a certain character they like or a certain fandom. There's nothing inherently wrong with any of this, but Disney adults get a bad rap because they are ravenous. I often explain to people that being an adult who is a fan of Disney and being a Disney adult are two different things. Case in point, I have a small collection of Disneyana here, including some great pieces from Epcot, like the 40th, this orange Spaceship Earth that turns into an orange bird vase, and you probably can't make out too much of it, but this is my Disney Transportation Ride Vehicle collection. I have a really rare Disney Year 2000 commemorative team member pin, and a ton of stuff I collect. Yeah, this is a Mickey back scratcher from the Disney World, Walt Disney World 50th. But I'm very, very careful to explain to people that I am not a Disney adult because I am not ravenous about my fandom. I do not collect every little thing, and most importantly, I don't have a sense of supremacy over my fandom. Disney adults will buy into the Disney Vacation Club, the timeshare. Disney adults will get the latest, greatest thing. They will hoard merchandise. It's a different tier of obsession, and it makes a difference between creating a community where other people can be a fan and where other people can't. I would say more broadly, I'm a theme parks fan. I appreciate immersion, and I appreciate the narrative through line of a really well-executed land, ride, attraction, or experience. Now, that said, that extends to other parks as well, certainly Universal, but anyone who's been, there's Universal right there, but anyone who's been to Knott's Berry Farm or even to certain parts of Cedar Point can speak to the idea that Frontier Town in Cedar Point has incredible theming. Ask my friend Jeremy about his love of chess and the lore of Cedar Point, or rather of Steel Vengeance, which carries over to Maverick and carries over to the rest of the land. Similarly, Knott's during its Frontier Days festival, or rather Ghost Town Comes Alive, has role-playing characters who walk around. So there's actually other parks, other companies who in a weird way are doing the lore even better than Disney right now. Universal's Epic Universe has walk-around performers. That's what I'm a fan of. And you don't have to be at a Disney park to appreciate good theming, to appreciate heavy theming. So I'll leave you with one final thought. Being a Disney adult is a lot like being a fan of the Grateful Dead, or of Fish, or of jam bands. Always be careful whenever you get into anything to make sure you're just appreciating it as the exception to the rule and not letting it define your life. Because with any fandom, once you enter into that hologram reality, once all of your disposable income, all of your extra spend, all of the time you spend with your partner talking about anything, all of the YouTube videos that you watch, once all of that becomes dedicated to one single thing, you are no longer a fan, but an obsessive. And you are no longer appreciating things from an unbiased place, but you are living in a hologram reality. At Peak Merch, we will always toe the line between fandom and obsession, and also point out to you where that line exists. So that's my pledge to you. We're 1 year in. We've got so many great videos coming up. We've got a trip to Chicago searching for blues merchandise. We've got a trip to Montreal. We've got a trip to King Arthur Baking Company. And I'm doing a full week at Universal Orlando, including Epic Universe. Not to mention some other surprises along the way. So if you've made it this far, thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for engaging. At the end of the day, if you don't know me, I've been Just. You've been patient, and you've just watched. Peak Merch. We'll see ya real soon.